going on, y'all? It's Kenny Kamz. It is September 24th, 2024, and it is officially hoodie season, and this is the Black Show. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good morning. I hope everybody's week started off to a great start, productive, and all of that. I also want to say, I if you need beats and you need music for, and that could be for videos, that could be if you're an artist, that could be for any project you got. I'm gonna put the link down in here. It's two different ways you can buy them from me. You can buy them from SoundCloud, which is a little bit more difficult, and that's more for the I think for the rappers and the artists and the singers. And then United Masters is another one, and I'll put both links in there. You click them. Beats is only like $29.99 for the lease of it. I'll say this, y'all, like that's the stuff that we have to do to help to keep this going. The thing I realized with in Milwaukee, it's not a lot of artists that have money to pay for studio time here. It's some dope artists, but like, yeah, the economy is shitty, so everybody's struggling. So even that, man, I'm almost at a point where I'll drop some discounts, dogs. I want this shit to work, y'all. I really want this shit to work. So for right now, any artists for the next until we start get rolling, and I want to recruit some artists that in-house artists. So right now, I got a deal, and I went back and forth on this, but for the next month, I'm going $25 an hour for studio time. And yes, it is because I have not had a lot of people come in the studio here because I charge a lot, but I charge a lot because of the quality of what y'all gonna get. And when you pay for that studio time, the production comes with it. So it's a bonus to it. So if any rappers out here that want to rap on my beats or to find my beats dope, book the studio time. It's cheaper. And then I'll also help you take you through like how to market your songs, how to put your cover together, who to contact for the radio contacts, how to get on Heat from the Street. Like I'll take you through that whole process too, but y'all gotta pay for the studio time to get that. Cause it's gotta be, let's be realistic, it's a business. So it's gotta be how this keep running. Cause I could do a lot of the stuff I do for the marketing and stuff without this space. So for me to have this space was so I can actually have other people come in and I can work with other people because I was kind of self-sustainable by myself. So $25 an hour studio time. My daytimes are kind of packed out with business stuff, but from about 5 to midnight, I'm open, man. So use the space, y'all. Use the space. We're being scared. Use the space. Use the space. And if I turned you off in the wrong way, cool. But use the space, bro, because it's a dope space. We got all the equipment we need. In 25 hours, you ain't finna get that at the other studios here. So I'm about to undercut them purposely so I can start making some more money. And then once we start developing our roster and all that stuff, then of course we'll go back to regular pricing. But I thought about it, I was like, this is a brand new business, bro. Like you a month in. And my expectations for stuff be so high, y'all, that like if I don't see it going the way that I thought it would go, I almost get not a defeatist, but like, okay, maybe we gotta shift to the next plan. But I think with this one, I'm gonna stick a little bit, lower my prices a little bit, and then try to get some music out there. I'm not as big. I don't care much about the most about making a ton of money. It's about keeping this thing functional and operational. So that's the plan. So hit me up, the Connect Studios MKE at gmail.com or just DM me. And for the Facebook stuff, I know I had the message that I'm not technically deleting my Facebook or my Instagram. I'm gonna leave it up and I'll check it sometimes, but it's not a priority to me for content anymore. Facebook is really easy just to post the Black Show on Facebook. Instagram is a little more difficult because, like I said, y'all, I told y'all my issues with Meta. All right, so enough about me. Let's get into the main topic of today. And this is kind of about Diddy, but it's also about kind of in the larger spectrum of how people kind of interact with other people. It was a couple different interviews I seen. Also, in these interviews, a lot of people that people just call, they blanketed as crazy, like I'll Be Sure, Orlando Brown, Jaguar Wright. Basically, everything that they're saying is happening is coming true right now about Diddy specifically. And I want to put that in a context for y'all. Like, so people like Orlando Brown and them, like, yeah, they have been through so much trauma in their lives. I think Orlando Brown's playing a character. I do. Um, but they've been through so much trauma in their lives that you can't. Everything isn't truth. It's truth in everything, but everything they're saying isn't true. And especially with Orlando Brown, like his consciousness level is so high that he's playing a character and giving real information to the people that could catch it of what's going on and the people that can interpret what he's saying. So the thing that I heard from Orlando Brown's interview, and it was I forgot what interview guy it was, but he was like, so Orlando Brown, they was talking about going to Hollywood to chase your dream. And man, this is a thing that's been on my mind, not anymore, but before probably like until like 2016, 17, that like I seen people like Dave Prep, Prep John, I seen like Business Boy. I seen all of them go do that, then go chase their dream. And I felt like I was almost a coward for not really going for it. So when I graduated from college, I moved to New York City, right? And in New York City, I moved into the South Bronx. I was there for about 3 weeks until I was just like, nah, this ain't it. I was living in like a shared apartment with like 5 people, and like what 4 of them were foreigners, and there was a Jamaican dude in there, and like they just weren't very welcoming. Like I look back now, I'm like, man, maybe if my like the way I thought was a little bit different, that could have been one of the dopest times of my life. But also, I realized that like at that age, I was 100% susceptible to all of this industry shit. I would have been susceptible to it, and it wasn't been because like I wanted to be on that bad. My thing in life is that I realize is I've been yearning for someone to just pay attention to me, but I don't like to be a center of attention. I won't say I don't like. I feel anxiety being a center of attention, but so I don't want a bunch of people. I just want certain people to listen to what I'm saying. And I would have been easily manipulated if I was manipulated by like people in Milwaukee in my regular life. Oh my god, it would have been terrible. So I'm that's why I'm really glad like certain situations happen how they happen, because now I see it a little bit different of a light. But it was something Orlando Brown was talking about with Diddy, right? So he was talking about the interviewer was like, yeah, you bring your girl, and you got to watch your girl when you bring her around. He was like, no, he don't want your girl, he want you. And he said something about like it's fresh. He said this is his word, fresh booty in there. That like so Diddy's thing is power and control and breaking people. And if you can if I could sit down with Diddy and dig deep into his psychological makeup, I bet you can pinpoint exactly where that comes from. Um, that's a mental illness. That's a trauma wound that manifested into evil. That's what that is, and it's about being able to control other people's actions. I'm gonna guess Diddy didn't have a lot of control over his life as a kid, and I'm gonna guess because his mom was a madam and his dad was a gangster. So I'm guessing that's why Diddy didn't have a lot of control, and he's overcompensating, so he wants to control everybody now. Diddy was more than likely molested too, because that's the way that he moved. That's telltale signs of that shit. The thing I think a lot of people don't understand, and it's our society is so backwards in general with all of this, and they don't people don't understand things, and they listen to people that are manipulative and lying to them, and they think that that's the way that stuff works. That's typically how everything goes now, I realize. And to have real power in a situation, you don't have to manipulate. If you have real power, you can just say what it is. That's a lot of things that goes from dating to politics to anything, and it's that I bring it in of it is a narcissistic demonic spirit that is over our country. I don't know the world, maybe the world, but our country for sure, and the leaders of other countries for sure, where they are able to do as they wish, but you're not. And the reason why, they know if all of us were doing what they were doing, it would be complete chaos and they wouldn't thrive. They thrive on people not knowing things. This is the part I realize about myself, and people get kind of a mis misconnection on this, I guess. Um, so I never realized this. A lot of people that are manipulative in nature, narcissistic at nature, have that narcissistic demon on them or spirit on them. When they're asking for information, it's for leverage over somebody else, and they want to keep all the information to themselves. For me, I get information so I can share it. So that's the diff. Like I'm realizing now, the narcissistic spirit and an empathic spirit are the yin yang. They're the opposites, but they can both be toxic. One is typically always toxic, but also at a level though, because a lot of the like a lot of the high performers, you got to have a little bit of that narcissistic ego in to really believe it, because you're gonna get a lot of naysayers saying no. So it's a fine line you got to balance, and that's why I say it's all about balance. But people that manipulate, they aren't actually in control because they can't really be themselves and present as what it is and get people to move how they want to. So they have to veil it to get them to do that. Um, this one thing, like it took me a long time to be able to identify if someone was being genuine with me or they were being manipulative. I'm at 34, I pretty much just figured that out. So I don't put that on everybody to be able to do that, but these shows are to talk about this so you can see it in your regular life and be like, oh, okay, I see how that person is moving with me. That's not cool. Not cut off everybody, but maybe change how you move with that person. And if someone was a threat, they'll present as a threat. You just got to know what to look for. Like I realize that now. I'm like, okay, people are really good at masking their intentions. And if I see anyone masking any intentions around me, it's my decision that I don't want you around me. If you have ulterior motives that you're not putting on the surface, that's fine for other people. But for me personally, that's not fine. I don't like that. I don't deal with that. Like talk to me open as I'll talk to you open. That's kind of how I move. So and that like shocks a lot of people, turns a lot of people off, or they think it's some gaming or something to it, but it's not. So when I say like, hey y'all know I'm good, I'm good. The reason why is I spent about a year and a half, or not even that long, probably about 6 months maybe, doing that with a person that was manipulating me, that I loved for real, that I was embarrassed of myself for putting myself in that situation. So I'll never do it again. That's one thing. When I learn something, I correct the behavior. That's a part of I think that's a part of sports that maybe instilled in me, maybe just my parents, but I do want to say this about the industry, right? The industry isn't being fixed. A lot of the people on the internet, like, oh, all these execs are getting fired and like all that stuff. Is so they think that like, oh, it's gonna be a major change. It's consolidation. It's consolidation. It's a change of the guard. And what's happening is the music regime is removing all of the niggas now because they got 2OC. They were profitable for a little bit because black people had a large base of money. Black people in mass are broke as shit now. No one's saying it because of pride and ego and stuff, but black people are the poorest in America it's probably ever been. Ever, probably. Like, it's some people living with like 4 or 5 different relatives. Like, so it's struggling and back. Like, even me, man, like I said, y'all, this was super expensive. Like I put a lot on the line for this. So now I'm making back what I spent. I'm still in the red here. Very much so in the red here. That I'm making it back. That's how business works though. And it's a symptom of a bigger problem in the black community, right? Because people are getting tired of us. They're getting tired of it. Like, look at the difference. So Epstein and Diddy are basically the same person, right? Basically. There's a black and a white version. You see how people treated Epstein business-wise, where Bill Gates was going to meet with him. And you see how Diddy was basically getting hold by the owners of the liquor companies and Lucian Grange and everybody that he had ties to. You see what I mean? Like that's a major difference in how you're treated. And right now, black culture is at the bottom of the barrel in the world right now. Like we allow another culture to steer our culture into the fucking fire. And when people like myself or like D1 or spoke up, like, bro, these guys aren't who y'all think they are. Talking about the musicians, the Diddys, the Rick Rosses, the Drakes, everybody. Like they're not who y'all think they are. And they're actually counterproductive to our community. We got called the people that was being sketchy. That's how strong that mind control is that the people that are calling out the truth, you look at them as they're the wrongdoer. That's a real big issue that I don't think can get fixed now because every black person thinks they know something. Every black person thinks they know it all. Like we've preached this message to black women that they're unfallible, which is not true because it's probably one of the most fallible subsections of humans on this planet, behavior wise. Basically, what happened in black culture is, and everybody know this, they labeled the black men as potential criminals, and they labeled the black women as potential hoes. And everywhere else in between, they don't give a fuck about. That's why I say a lot of this race stuff and black stuff and all that stuff that keeps all this stuff going is coming from where? Black people or white people that have an agenda to make black people feel emotional. It's a big difference in like the way we react to stuff culture wise. And this is specifically black culture compared to all other cultures. We go emotion first, feeling second, logic third. And most other cultures go emotion first or feelings first, I mean. Logic second and emotion third. So what I mean is that they see something that happens, they feel a certain type of way about it, right? Logically, they go through their head of like, okay, what are all of the circumstances around this situation? Does everything make sense? Then they get emotional about the result of that. Black people, we lead with emotion. We see something and we get emotional about it. And then we get in our feelings about it because we apply it to something that happened in our life or something that happened to somebody we know. Then when you get to the logic part of like what really happened, you can't really discuss the logic when you have to jump over the hurdles, the walls of emotion and feeling first. When you got to hurdle feelings and then you get to logic, it's a little bit simpler. But when you got to hurdle feelings and then your emotions and then you finally get to the logic, it's just not a sustainable thing for black people. And that's why black people are habitually in these cycles of just shitty situations because we move off emotion. Stop moving off emotion. That was my biggest thing in my life was like, and my thing is I wouldn't get emotional to do something stupid. I would get emotional, and my emotional part is like, fuck y'all, I could do this myself. That's what my emotion is like. Fuck all y'all. That's the part where I'm like, you can't always do that, kid. Sometimes that's needed though, but you can't do that all the time, kid. So I had to talk to myself about that. Like, chill out. Like, some people just don't understand how serious you take stuff, and you gotta accept that. But I say again, y'all, it's sad for me to say this, but I don't think it's fixable because everybody knew what Diddy was doing. Everybody. They needed proof that it was true, like 100% true, when they had 99.9% evidence that like circumstantial evidence, yes, but evidence that like, yeah, all of that probably is true. That's the part where I'm like, y'all don't connect people's actions to what they say and their actions to what they say that they're doing. Like, I'll give a good one. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry has made a living off black woman trauma, putting the same movie out every time. Light skinned guy good, but a player. Dark skinned guy bad, and then he comes in and saves it. The other dark skin guy. It's the same story that y'all being told, and it's just it's just capitalizing and monetizing off of black women. All the celebrities do it, all of them, and we buy a hook, line, and sinker. Like that's what's freaking out the white community is because the Paul brothers and all of them are able to manipulate their kids as good as black people have manipulated this whole time, and they see it. They see it. And black people, we just, if it's money involved, it's seen as a righteous move. And that's just not true, y'all. That's just not true. So I'm gonna wrap this up before it's too long, y'all. The collective point I want y'all to get from me today is that, like, stop thinking that these celebrities are good people because they have money. The evidence shows overwhelmingly that most people that have a lot of money are terrible, terrible human beings. So if you want to be in that status, you got to know one comes with the other. You can't do both. You can't be, oh, I'm a great person and I'm rich and hanging out with Drake and all of them and 50 Cent. No, you can't do both. And also, as an adult, why are y'all worried about hanging out with people? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people are stuck in the mid 2000s when they were in high school, and they just can't get out of it. It's some block that they just can't pass. I was like that with college for a long time. Where I couldn't get out of that college mindset of like, oh yeah, we got to go out. It's Friday, Saturday. I feel bad because I'm not out partying. I feel bad because I'm like, nah. Now I'm like, I go to bed like 9 o'clock now. Unless I got something here I got to do, it's like 9 o'clock, and I enjoy that. We got to grow up. Collectively, we got to grow up. That's what it is. They say like all the time, we the aunties and uncles now, but we collectively have to grow up and be more mature and more responsible and more capable, take on more responsibility. We have to. That's the only way to grow. That's the only way to grow. At least through my experience. So it's Kenny Kamz, y'all. It's the Black Show. Have a good rest of y'all week, man. Like I said, $25 an hour for studio time. I'm dropping it like what's the Thursday deals for Black Thursday deals or Black Friday deals for Thanksgiving, man. Like I really, really, really want this to work, y'all. And if the bigger picture of this is like we have our own No Limits studios here. We're like, oh, I know this dope ass rapper. Let me send him over to Kenny and them, and then so he can work with him and make him a star. That's what I want. Like I don't really want to be the star, y'all. I got a song coming on hot on the Hometown Heat, right? Like that, it's gonna be a Hometown Heat. And I am terrified to perform that song. Because I gotta get in the full character. And I don't me being in the Kamz character is more on record on audio than in like real life. So we'll see how I go. I'm a good performer, man. I perform like a lot in college, but I ain't been on the stage probably performing. I've been on the stage talking several times, but actually performing my music, I ain't been on the stage since 2012, 13 maybe. But it's coming soon. It's coming soon. I got some other things too I want to do. Give me an idea on this, Milwaukee. I kind of want to do a speed date night for not even professionals. I don't like that. Of just people that think similarly. So it's gonna be some qualifications to sign up for it and whatnot too. Location is, I think I know what location I'm gonna do it at. It's gonna be dope, but it's gonna be a small fee, but it'll come with some drink tickets or something like that. I'll sweeten the pot for y'all. But what I want to do is because me being single, man, it's really hard to date. Like it's really hard to date. So my plan is to have people sign up. I vet them out. We have me and then one of my female friends vet them out, and then we pick the top 15 candidates that we want or that we think that are there, and then do this once a month to try to bring that community around, man. I'm big on families. I think we need to bring families back. We need to do it the right way. Internet dating is not the way to go. I stopped all that shit. Like I will never hop in a DM on Instagram or Facebook no more either. Like I haven't done that a lot, but like I realized the massive amount of quantity. Like I'm gonna try to date a girl that doesn't have a social media. Alright, y'all, it's Kenny Kamz, the Black Show. Have a good rest of y'all day. I'm out.
Red light, turn left out. We don't care what they care about. We don't share what they share about. We don't lay where they lay at. We don't stay where they stay at. I play when I play that. I'm a gym, I ask a shorty what you need, cause I got 5 on it. I ask a shorty what you need, cause I got 5 on it. Cause I got 5 on it. Diamonds on it, you gotta spin it. Shorty, you know this is a lot of women that's trying to get it. Let's try to get it. She said she wants the diamonds on it. You gotta spin it. Shorty, you know it's a lot of women. Hey, let's try and get it. Let's try and get it. Yeah, let's get it. Played the game like Percy, then people still ain't signed. From the 3 like Mercy, had me feeling like the 90s. On the bench like Rick though, business for the mob. Face mask like Rip though, headband for the squad. King of diamonds, got the ones on me with your broke ass. Ain't my nigga been there, first time I